Money in the jar. Thank you, Carrie. I had that thought. Well, having the thought is unavoidable. It's conditioned. It's karmic. It's been there throughout all time in its development. It isn't even yours. It's not even just you. It isn't, you don't identify with it. You don't make it you, but everybody's making the mistake. It's happening every day. And I love that people are interacting with me around it because they're going, well, okay, put me in for a buck. So I love that. And by the way, don't feel like you're bothering me. I think that's spectacular. But I'm going, whoops, wait a minute. I'm not sure you're understanding this correctly. Because having the thought is part of being human, right? Having a thought. And remember what I said, they're conditioned not just in your lifetime. The Dalai Lama, where he's sitting here, he would say these are conditioned throughout all generations. Yes, we know it, right? As trauma is, as, right, the suffering we have, as my hips are, conditioned beyond me, by the way. My father had them, his mother, right? And the possibility is also that my sons, or one of them, might have this. And we already know this. I'm tall like this, green eyes like this, right? A big mouth like this, uh, uh, fearless sometimes in all the wrong ways like this, right? And I understand that enough that I can cultivate now a fairly compassionate and forgiving relationship with myself because I'm going like, yeah, there's my dad. Yeah, there's grandma too. Yeah, by the way, it isn't only towards the karmically debted, is it? It's also towards all the good. I am fearless towards the good. I will take the bullet for you. I will. That's also karmic, and it's also mine. And I also get to celebrate that, don't I? So this isn't just, bleh, right? It's also, yay, there are strengths in me, capacities in me. And the Buddha said, this is true of all sentient beings. You have this possibility and possibility and possibility. And so, how wonderful and fortunate and auspicious for us. And then I thought, oh, we haven't really talked about the second arrow in a while. And it might be useful because that's just one more way to distinguish a thought as a thought not as mine, not as me, not as nothing to grab or claim because we're doing it. And so, really, we probably have refunds in the jar because no, not the first thought. We let that simply, then in the sutta, it says, let it be known. Let it be known. It doesn't say, take claim, beat the chest with it. Let it be known, and then a lot of beautiful opportunities from that. So let's read a little bit from Bhikkhu Bodhi around the second arrow. And I love the teaching so much I didn't want to just paraphrase. Bhikkhus, when the uninstructed worldling, that's all of us, is being contacted by a painful feeling, he sorrows, grieves, and laments. He weeps, beating his breast, and becomes distraught. He feels two feelings, a bodily one and a mental one. Suppose they were to strike a man with a dart, and then they would strike him immediately afterwards with a second dart, so that the man would feel a feeling caused by two darts. So too, when the uninstructed worldling is being contacted by a painful feeling, he feels two feelings, a bodily one and a mental one. Hold that for a moment. And then, bhikkhus, when the instructed noble or wise disciple is contacted by a painful feeling, he does not sorrow, grieve, or lament. He does not weep, beating his breast and becoming distraught. He feels one feeling, a bodily feeling, not a mental one. Suppose they were to strike a man with a dart, but they would not strike him immediately afterwards with the second dart. So that man would feel a feeling caused by one dart alone. So too, when the instructed noble disciple is contacted by a painful feeling, he feels one feeling, a bodily one, not a mental one. And so, what do we understand? Know the thought as the thought arising. Do not take claim, so that we can become that ennobled disciple, being skillful, kind, compassionate, wise in relationship. And then there is only money in the auspicious good fortune jar. You're only collecting a bank account in the most beautiful way.
So this
jar
is the second arrow jar.
Yes. This is the second arrow jar. Thank you, Lisa. And everybody's putting money in as a first arrow.
Yes.
I had the thought. But remember, what's our instruction? I had the thought.
Know the thought.
Know the thought. As a thought. We have the second jar for the catching the first arrow. But so does that help already? We're going, but I thought it. Right. This is called being human. I had a thought. Know a thought as a thought. And then the second instruction earlier on in the Pali Canon says, do not mistake the thought as me or mine or I at all. And we're caught already. We have identified, I had the harsh thought, and then what do? We go further. We go, I am harsh. I am unkind. I am unskillful. And then we go further. What's the next step? You cause that. You are unkind. You are the problem. You are unskillful. And then we go further. All of them are unkind. All of them are unskillful. All of them are the problem. And then we have tribalism, don't we? Then we have sectarianism. And we make sense of it. And it began where? Not just here, all the way back to that first thought that was misunderstood. The first thought misunderstood. So now I want everyone to reflect for a moment on all those first thoughts. And then we have to recognize them simply as thought. And it's helpful, it says in the teachings, to simply call a thought out loud. Thought happening, thought arising. Joseph Goldstein says, I like to say, thought arising, sky is blue. To neutralize this idea that there's anything wrong with the realities of life arising as it is. Sky is blue. Thought arising. We put them really, then, don't we, on the same plane. There's no problem. Thought arising is conditioned throughout all time, not just your mom and her mom right. And so there would be nobody to blame. You couldn't find them. Isn't that lovely? You couldn't locate them. You'd have to go back and back and back and back. And our limited minds, our identified, reified, self-claiming, solidifying minds go to, well, just now, you did it. This is one of my personal favorites. You did it to me. And then we go to the next generation. That's another fun thing, is because my mother, because my father, because somebody did it. And it's all completely misunderstood. Short-sighted, we could say, couldn't we? Any,
have a
anything else we want to say about that while I look for the Kleenex?
I have a
Oh,
question.
here.
It's right there.
Yeah,
on
thank
the
you.
other side.
I got it.
So sometimes though, a thought that I would think is an a-hole thought has allowed me to reevaluate a situation. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in a bad situation because you're with someone who is actually truly behaving improperly, right? So I have a thought like, you're an idiot,
Uh-huh.
but sometimes we have to get away from that person. So we just take the thought, calm ourselves down, and walk away. Or,
Okay, so
sorry,
when is a harsh thought, a thought of ill will, a thought of separation useful?
when you're in danger.
Safety.
Right,
So then you just
Imminent.
have to recognize that.
right. The only thing is get away is actually what that thought is. The thought is truly get me safe, which is always a skillful thought. And then we don't need the second arrow thought at all, which is you're an idiot. Now you're catching it there, Robin, but that's not actually your first thought. Your first thought is I may be threatened. This may not be safe for me. I may have to act to be safe.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I wouldn't want anyone hesitating with that thought.
It seems like there's a bardo between the two jars.
Yep, big
that-
one.
that-
There's a bardo in the jar as well.
Jars of art.
What's the bardo in the jar? Well, let's talk about it, Jim.
Yeah.
You said there's a bardo between the jars. What's that?
Well, you have this thought, and it may not be particularly good. And
Or
then-
pleasant.
Correct, and then you have a decision. That to me, that's the bardo. You have this time to make a decision. You actually take the time.
You could take the time. You could create space. In fact, we are capable in our meta capacity of not only recognizing the thought, but actually making a decision, not just about that thought, but about the relationship that we want with that thought. And often in early mindfulness training, what do we say? Do nothing, create space, a pause, and room. So that we can see with greater capacities, clarity, without threat, actually, Robin, right? So things too close tend to be threatening. And when we have space in them with them, we tend to feel capable. Remember, there's space in which to make skillful decisions, and we don't have to shoot the messenger.
Yeah, because that makes it more dangerous a lot of times.
That's right.
anyway.
Right, then we get in double trouble, we could say, which is the point of the second arrow, isn't it? It's double trouble. It is not only. So in other teachings, just so you know about this, the first thought is also understood, and you've heard me say it already, to be karmic or conditioned. No, excuse me, conditioned. The first thought is conditioned to some extent already in propagation, very difficult to capture early on until we see it and form right relationship to it and come to deeper practical experiential understandings with thoughts, and we understand the second thought as the karma of it. Conditioned, relative, truth. Through my mother said that like that too, right? And we can point to some of those realities. And then this second arrow is karmic, and we can't always see it. We don't always recognize that. We can, though, know it. And in its knowing, what would knowing that truth? That this is not only conditioned in this lifetime, this is not only conditioned by generation, this is karmically conditioned throughout all time. How might that help you then?
Way less judgment.
Way less judgment, said Jean. How might it hurt you?
Not take
I have no choice.
responsibility.
It's not me.
Not my problem.
You can abandon responsibility, honesty, skillfulness in response. So I go, what could I do? It's karmic. My grandma's grandma did this. I don't even know her. What can I do? And this is not the point of that teaching, is it? It's to understand that there is a momentum. It's going to take practice, time, work, effort, discipline. This is why these then come to bear. It says there is no just don't do it. And it wouldn't be reasonable if you understood this conditioned reality as well as karmic weight. You wouldn't go, well, I just shouldn't think that thought. How many times do you think this week I heard that? I just shouldn't have thought that thought.
It wasn't just me.
I'm gonna will that.
Jean's laughing. How many times, Jean? How many times that thought? And I want us to stop it.
Stop it.
Wow.
This is the second time this has happened. I actually know what it is now, though. So this is fun. I can stop it.
Well, Di, I think
Yes.
part of what makes it confusing and easy to be so judgmental is the teaching from a couple weeks ago, right? There were they precepts? No, I don't
Yes,
know the
precepts.
terminology, but
Yes.
to see the thought and try and preemptively stop
It's propagation.
Yes, stop its propagation.
Yes.
And so I think
Yes.
the onus is on the thinker.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so it became so easy to say, okay, a-hole jar, you need a couple more dollars.
Yeah. Yes. And we're just going to make a finer distinction now that the first thought is a thought arising simply. What we do with that thought begins to have karmic weight. The first thought, in its momentum throughout time, simply a thought. And then we're going to name that thought arising, sky is blue, thought not me, not mine, I used to say, because I couldn't unhook. I didn't have any possibility early on to unhook. I was like, if I'm not that, who the blip am I? I am my thoughts. I am my mind. I am this mind, and I want to be. Because I feel like I've got some, like, cognizing capacity here. The rest, I don't know. And it wasn't correct, and it did get me in some trouble, and it did propagate those other dynamics that we understand: self-loathing, self-hatred, criticism, and doubt, right? And then sorrow, lamentation, and beating oneself and others about the chest. But it takes what it takes also, right? And so what's the practice? The practice is just now, just here, this thought.
Is it okay to say this energy?
This energy,
We talked about the depression and the energy because I'm using this thought, but as I mentioned, I don't just have thoughts. I have kind of, ugh.
energies.
Yeah.
What would be negative about the energy? What would you see as the problem with the energy if it was not constructed into something?
If it was not constructed, there's no problem, which is
Right.
why I'm wondering if it's okay to say this energy.
I would say the energy itself is not actually our difficulty. It's what we do with it. A little bit like that first thought, Jean.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wouldn't, I think I just want you to be careful because then we make the energy something somewhat solid also.
Okay.
But you could say X arising. So let me give you another
Yeah.
example to help you.
Thank you.
When we do pain management, we actually ask people not to say the word pain. And we're going to talk about why. We don't say pain arising. What do we say?
Throbbing, burning.
Burning in the ear, lower ear, throbbing.
Specific.
Very specific, very targeted. Why? What's the point of it? Very direct, and we stay very close, very attuned to it for a very specific reason.
The sensations change.
It's ever changing, and you can't always see it when you just say pain. Now, pain, well, I could tell you right now, I could name pain every day, all day, forever, if we were only looking there. Couldn't we? If we called it pain. Now, energy is more neutral, Jean, for sure. But then you have some work, which is I have to stay open to energy with the big E. Not only the energy that sucks me under, not only the energy that's deflating, not only the energy that's exhausting, but also the energy that gives you the capacity to see it
Mm-hmm.
right now. That's an energy also, isn't it? And now we've got a little work.
Yeah.
Don't we? We're not just pointing to the one that takes me under. We're pointing to the one that's holding me up.
Thank you.
This one breath, and then this one breath. And thoughts are pleasant for me, from my point of view, to work with because we can catch them. And energy workers like Jean may have a sufficient capacity to catch a subtle energy. We can call those waves. We can call those subtle sensations, very, very subtle sensations, things that are even beyond body capacities. There are bioenergetic healers and others who very much know this, but without a lot of practice in that, I would want you to be careful. Because then I think the very unfortunate chance is that we're going to list over into the unpleasant and into the not going the way, right? And so, how do we hold that in big open space? And I just want us to be cautious.
And
But
I
Jean,
only,
I trust your wisdom in this.
well, in case anybody else in the Sangha has depression ever, I mentioned it because I can't find thoughts. The first, when I feel depressed, the thought that comes up is already the second arrow. God damn it, here it is again.
Here it is again.
So I'd rather identify first, or I could call it a state of mind instead of an energy. My point was, it's not just a thought or just a body sensation or just an emotion. It is a conflagration of those. And so I'm looking for a word
What you
that
can catch.
lets me practice. Yeah,
Catch
without,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Energy is already, I love that you said this because you just made your case for why you shouldn't use it.
Good. Okay. So,
Because you just said it is not only a thought, it is not only a sensation, it is not only an emotion, it is a confluence and conflagration. And you are already underwater 30,000 feet.
yes. So how do I
Right
say
there.
a thought is a thought? That
You
does,
tear them apart. You tease them. One strand of spaghetti at a time
okay.
untangles the web. What
Okay.
can you feel? What can you know? What
Okay.
can you,
Got it.
right? Because there are thoughts, even if you're not getting them yet,
Okay.
they are arising. There are body sensations. It's why we begin in the body and
Mhm.
we don't begin at energies because so subtle. And in fact, what happened, there were 10,000 body sensations that contributed to that. And now we're underwater again.
Okay.
So what can I know? Twitchy ear, finger pulsing. We're going to actually do this practice today. Anyway, so thank you, Jean.
I have a question. So isn't that mean that when you say what you've been saying and now the word pain would be a certain significant conflagration of things?
Yes,
Isn't
it's
that really a story you've told yourself or can't think of the other, anyway, a judgment you've made about this.
if you can
And you,
detangle,
and you need to break that apart.
if you can detangle, I wouldn't call it a narrative yet, but I would say its likely probability is that it goes to a narrative
Mhm.
unless you can uh, continue that mindful practice of thoughts as thoughts, sensations as sensations. And this is the early ongoing work. We're doing it all the time, really. But is the noting, naming itself uh, the tangle? I wouldn't say. No, things are occurring, so quickly that they all look like one. And this is us untangling even there before the narrative.
Right.
It's even
That's what I meant.
even
Narrative.
before
You've
the narrative.
decided.
And yes, we usually take I feel like shit because right down the river into suffering. We do. But could we just know a sensation as a
Right.
sensation? Know the body as the body, says the Buddha, as the first instruction. Then know thoughts as thoughts as the second.
And that's why.
And this is why these teachings, I'm going back to the Satipatthana. Why? Because I'm in some hot water. I'm in some hot water called this being human that we're all in every moment, right? And I'm noticing, oh, I don't have those thoughts when I can walk around Bend, when I can do all the things I like to do, when I can ride my horses, when I can ride my bike, when I can sign up for the Palm Springs Century ride, things are really rolling along until the reality. And this is everyone's reality, isn't it? I will not be just like this. When? Now. We're just usually not awake enough. And then now, and then now. And so then we have big words, don't we, like illness, aging, and death, which are infinite moments, right? Into little called, these are going to be challenging. If you cannot, in just this moment, know a thought as a thought, and Dia said it, Jean said it, and Renee said it, and then not add suffering to the reality of this human life. And I have a lot of practice. Now, I am catching the thoughts. This is the good news. I'm actually catching imagery, Jean. It doesn't always come across as a thought. It comes across as a car crash that I'm in.
Mm.
It just arises. And the car crash just goes, the body just dissolves.
So that's not a thought. Am I hearing
An
you
image,
right?
yes, it is understood to be a mind object.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Images are also understood in this, as neuroscience says it fires the same.
Do you get pain first or thought first? Or it varies?
I would say the pain is not necessarily in any way related to the distressing thought.
Wow.
No, I can have distressing thoughts without any problem at all.
I am so glad you've taken us through this. Okay.
Very capable. In fact, I think I could get an A+ as it related to distressing thoughts. I don't need one reason to have a distressing thought beyond the right conditioning of my own and the karma, we said, of my own mind.
It reminds me of free falling from 3 stories down from a scaffolding and going into a deja vu state where somehow that deja vu state made me relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know this somehow.
Fella beside me broke his arm, broke his leg, had to take him away.
Yeah.
And I walked away.
Yeah. Yeah. We are karmically trained in all these ways. We are not only destructively karmically trained, we are also skillfully, wisely, lovingly, compassionately karmically trained. Isn't it true? I can hold this. I can be with this in a way that, again, lifetimes and all the momentum throughout all time is to some extent contributing. But it's not just one directional. It's not just towards the unpleasant or the difficult. Okay. So we're getting this idea, I hope. I want to just run through. I don't want to say too much more because I really want to practice. And so then just to remind ourselves about the 2 kinds of thoughts. And remember, the Buddha does lists to make it palatable, right? Digestible. Could we make a list of 200,000 types of thoughts? Probably we could. and we could get more refined and more refined and more refined. And might there be benefit to that? Well, to the extent that I was there, it would. But we're just starting in sort of the, uh, a bassinet version of, can we know a destructive thought is destructive? And the answer is not necessarily right away. We sometimes, and you heard me say last time, have to look reflectively and contemplatively to see its play. What is the consequence of this thought? And Robin just asked that question. She said, well, if it gets me out of there, isn't it good? Well, it's good enough, we would say. And then could you just know that the thought that you missed was, I need to take a step back to be safe? And that this was probably some number of iterated thoughts later, in fact, because the brainstem only does one thing, which is safe or not safe. That's first. And we call that appraisal. Anybody remember this from our mindfulness training? The very first thing that happens after contact with an object, it says, is assessment appraisal. And it's automatic, and they look paired. That's how fast it is, and it says okay, not okay. And you missed it. You didn't even catch that. It was thousands of synapses later that you went, you're an idiot. Do we get this? Didn't we? We all know this. It's thousands, and most of those thousands are conditioned. It says you're not even free will thinking them. You're in the pattern you're in. And then we have things like racism and right to go, you don't know anything. You just went contact, boom, bad. It gives me goosebumps because we're all bumping into each other in this world, aren't we? Going bad, good, like you, not you, dark hair, like, right? Glasses, nah. Red, ooh, right? That it's that primitive at its base. And then Renee said, and then we had a whole storyline to make sure it makes sense to us. That's what her point was, wasn't it? Then we go, well, because the last guy that I didn't like had a red hat on. The raisin I ate was bad. So raisins are bad. Right. So we know these things. And then we come back with all that layer of understanding. We have to come back to the basics. And the basic is knowing a destructive thought is a destructive one and making a commitment whenever one notices a destructive thought is a destructive one, to abandon it, to prevent it. This is it.
And I think you said you look reflectively and contemplatively on what is the outcome of the thought or the impact?
Outcome and the antecedent, Jean. We look in both directions.
Okay.
We look what could have contributed to this, and also what is its consequence. This is our mindfulness training also. It is not only the moment, it is most useful to begin here. And then what was going on that this happened in this way? Right? Is it habit? Yes, likely some version of habit. Can I see the habit arising? Can I then, as we've been talking about, just take pause, take time, and then begin to detangle one from thoughts like this? I can't be safe here. I've got to hurt you to get out of this. Can I recognize the thoughts as thoughts? And then the energy, just to make sure you understood, is it the result of that accumulation? Which is why when we just say energy, we are saying something close to pain. And then it's harder to disentangle. Just something to be watchful of. Yes, Greg?
So I know that the yes, no, like, not like is like that, and that I've probably missed it. But then the next thing up is judgment.
Yes, it's the consequence.
And then the judgment, when it's judgment, then it's probably was a not like.
That's right. Aversion.
as soon as it's judgment, so
Yeah.
if I can catch, then judgment I can catch.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. If
So
you
I-
can catch
so I
that.
so I know the relationship
Yes.
between judgment and the liking, not liking. So,
And ill will.
and ill will and all of it.
Let me go to ill will.
So-
Because pretty predictably for me,
Yeah.
the minute I go you anything, let me start there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to go further in that sentence, by the by. The minute I'm forming opinion about anything beyond my own heart, my own mind, my own thoughts, my own what am I doing? I'm already projecting. I'm already viewing. I'm already getting ready. The judgment's on its way. And we do it in the reverse, don't we, Jean? We can do the same with the I am, and right. And what do we know? Ill will is likely its consequence. What was the first hit in appraisal? Not liking, not wanting, wanting something else. These are all understood to be judgments. It isn't even you're an idiot. I went many iterations down the road. The first hit is, meh, don't like it, don't want it.
There's probably 10 or 15 iterations in there that are all conditioned.
That's right.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them conditioned. How can we know it? Now, Jean and others have said, I don't catch it as a thought. That's not actually a problem at all, because remember what we've already said? They're called aggregates. They are accumulations of things. Catch the body, then is the body. Can you catch the contraction? Can you catch the tightening? Can you catch the energy that goes forward instead of resting back? Right? This is why know the body is the body. Because that would be a really handy place to catch energy, Jean, wouldn't it? Before we cultivate that.
So the not liking happens. The
Yes.
body.
The appraisal
the
happens.
body is actually reacting before the judgment.
Before the
body
thought.
Is the very first thing.
Before the thought. The central nervous system has activated. That's why we call it appraisal. Really, we want to make sure that you didn't even think it yet. You knew it, right? Look, that little thing. And how amazing it would be, wouldn't it, if we could catch that and then just know that now I am heightened to cause harm. I'm also heightened to protect.
And for the second arrow.
And now, right, the quality of mind I can bring is spectacular to this thing. I can really now just be here, watchful, attentive, caring. And not only then for me, but for all those. Right? Now it's just beautiful, isn't it? And I got it just by the Shenpa grip. I caught it all the way there.
The Shenpa. Yeah.
Shenpa grip.
Shouldn't. No. Okay.
I will tell you about the Shenpa grip, Jean.
Oh,
Oh, no, I got it. Thank you.
it seemed like when you get to that point and because I've been doing this lately and realized I can actually look at what my participation is in giving that second arrow. And I think in the past I couldn't do that because I would immediately judge myself and feel bad about myself. And then to make myself feel better, I would blame it on the other person.
Yes.
But now with the self-compassion piece
Yes.
that we've all built for a while,
Yes.
and the stability of knowing that I'm just this normal human being, I'm not a bad person.
Yes.
The way I look at myself is different now. Anyway, without that building block of self-compassion, I don't know that I could have looked at myself objectively. Because now I can say, it's okay, you're human. You're going to probably do it better next time or sooner or whatever, but right now you're at least looking.
Mhm.
Oh, what's my contribution? Because the other thing I've been focusing on lately is I can't change in my relationship their action or their thoughts. I can only change mine. So I have to look at my contribution to this relationship and why maybe it's gone the wrong way.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to figure out how to repair, or if I want to. And I can only do what I can do with my actions. And that's helped me a lot, at least twice lately, to go, wow, I've been doing this, I've been perpetuating this prideful thought for 20 years in this relationship, and that has been part of the problem
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's the way I acted to this person, and so then they acted this way to me, and that's,
Mhm.
I don't want to do that anymore.
No, you don't. Because
But I couldn't
suffering,
have done it without that self.
compassion, feeling for oneself. I'm going to say this again. I said it last Saturday. Feeling for oneself cannot occur before you can see the pattern.
Okay.
Cannot occur. Because you have to see it and see it and see it. And then, like Renee said, I begin to understand that I am in some way a victim of my own thoughts. And then I can begin to feel for myself. Like this isn't even me choosing. This is just me defaulting into some old patterned protective place. Again, remember, karmically throughout many. And now I can begin to feel for me in it, understanding the vulnerability of this. And I can begin to now feel for others as I then look beyond me to go, oh, it looks like that could be happening here too. And maybe your own insufficiency, maybe your own feelings of unworthiness have led to your prideful thoughts, and that has led to your judgments and has led to your aggression, right? And then we get more skillful and wiser and more discerning and more precise still. But we must begin where we are, catching a thought as a thought, and then recognizing the contraction within it.
It's such good news.
Isn't it?
Because
Isn't it
it
true?
happened 10,000 times without me seeing it.
That's right.
And then maybe, 5,000 times with me seeing it.
That's right.
And then finally making it some changes.
That's right. And that we get some amount of lifetime in order to come to it is auspicious. And it says, not every being is privileged with this. You are privileged to have the capacity to go, I can recognize a thought as a thought, which is why it is seen as a precious, gifted capacity. Because
that will come, so don't wait.
Don't wait. Don't wait for anything.
That's the urgency.
And, a lot of us come into this at 40, 50, 60, 70, going, what was I doing the whole rest of the time? Every time I do a talk at La Costa Glen, and I do them at least once or twice a year, the consistent statement is, why didn't somebody tell me this sooner? Wait a minute, I'm 86. Why didn't somebody mention? And I went, oops, except you have now. And true, I wish too. But you have now, and now, and now. And there are 10,000 possibilities in each now. And so let's do it together and now. So I want to say this and then we're going to sit. A thought may be an a-hole thought if, what can we look to? It hardens the heart. Now I would say I'm too clever. I don't catch it hardened. I go numb. I can't feel it. I don't know what's going on down there. And mostly I don't want to know. So I don't even go down into that region of the body. I stay well placed up here in the protective head, going, thinking about this and thinking about this and thinking about this. Another way we can catch it. Ruminating, just going over and over and over. What about this? What about that? How did they say it? I could tell they said it like this. What did they mean? I think they meant that. You're already in trouble. Good to know. Ruminating thoughts, another beautiful way to catch it, even when, and it's the second arrow is, but it's true. Uh-oh. Labeling something as inherently more right than somebody else's experience. You're already in some kind of trouble. Now, each one of you would give me an instance where we went, this absolutely happened this way, and there is no, and I got the video. I got the video. You're still wrong. You're still wrong. No one truth, no one reality, no one lens, no one collection of, right, iterated moments. So numb, hardened, tightened would be all ways we could know it by body. What did I say? Forward, and forward with attention. It's a grip, a tightening forward rather than an opening forward. Couldn't we know it that way? A judgmental thought about self or other. Rehearsing, playing, that's the other side of ruminating. Playing it, and now we're playing what we're going to do, what we're going to say, how we're going to wait till I get to talk to them next. I'm going to tell them a thing or two about how this is, and I'm going to name those things. And dangerous, we just know they're dangerous because it's also a rumination, and now you're storytelling, for sure. You're just giving yourself evidence, and that's what it's evidence collecting. I'm feeding my own thoughts as right. A shrink's perspective, I can't think about anything else. My mind seems wrapped around something. I'm thinking a lot about the impact to me, how what it did to me, what they said to me, how it went for me, right? No ability to say, how is it there? What's happening there? What is the experience beyond my thought minds? It has an attacking feel. It feels pleasurable, but in contraction. It's sort of like, yeah.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, very much so. Right? Yeah. Right. It's right. And it's dangerous, as we know. And it does harm not only to oneself. We know of its harm to others. Okay, we're going to practice. We've got this. Anything to say before we go to practice?
Diana, I had one question. Where does it fit where does an apology fit?
Where does an apology fit?
So because I'm been really trying to practice this, and sometimes that second arrow just comes in faster than my self-compassion.
Yes.
And then I do actually see it, feel it, understand what's going on, and then I apologize
for the action that was unskillfully or unmindfully taken.
Yes. And is that just a learning curve for me, or I don't know. I guess I don't really, I feel like there's a question there I want to ask, but I'm not really getting clear on it. So
wholesome remorse is understood to be skillful. Let's just start there. Wholesome regret, I may have taken an action that is not skillful to me and other. Regret, I'm just landing on this, may not have. And then the remorse or the feeling that now remorse is not the same as self-judgment at all. Remorse is understood to be skillful, which means recognizing the consequence, the benefits, the dangers, and the good action of something that was thought, said, done.
And Renee said that very well,
Repair. So you may be confusing remorse, wholesome, right, this was not skillful, this was not helpful, with self-judgment. And we have to look pretty closely. What would be the distinction, do you think, between wholesome remorse, recognizing an action as unskillful, unwise, versus self-judgment?
I don't know. What came to me is that it has something to do with love,
Yes,
and
you could feel for yourself without blame, without shame, without judgment. You could recognize the confluence of events, sensations like this,
Mhm.
thoughts like this, fears like this, narrative like this, without making it mine.
It's a grasping.
Because now you're solidifying something if you didn't do that. Wholesome regret does not go I, it says conditions arising. I'm understanding those conditions. Thoughts like this, body sensations like this. Robin said fears for one's safety like this. Now you're only feeling for yourself, aren't you? It was scary. It was hard. I didn't know what to do. So I used that same old backhand, Dennis, don't we? That I've used 10,000 times before when that ball came slamming at me. And Dennis goes, okay, one more time. Just one more time. We're going to hold it like this. And we slow it down. And we take a couple. Just pushing it through. Pushing. See, remember? Remember, this is the good news. This is the good news. So just be watchful, because we can turn our mindfulness practice into nothing but self-judgment if we make it about me. If we make it about me, rather than the truth of this human condition, vulnerable. Okay. I'm going to pull something up because I want to see if I can find that. May not be. Yep, I can. And so let's prepare to sit. And I'm going to read today, again from just one second. I'm going to read one of my favorite, I don't know what, from the Bible, because it's Valentine's Day. That's why. And it's just one of my favorite. And it's a perfect day, and then we're going to sit from there, and I'll pull my bell out so I can actually ring it. Is there a side angle version of that? There we go. We got it. This is Corinthians. I feel like an elder now in the church. Corinthians 13, 4-8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Breathing that in, letting it settle into the body, letting the body settle into the earth. felt sense of the space around us, the sounds. The sense of companionship, connectedness to each other, to all that is alive. And here we rest. Feel the weight of the body. Allow it to draw you in and down as it will. And then letting the mind, one's attention be directed to the body and holding the body then in this, I like to think of it as a loving embrace. Knowing the body as the body. Inviting that caring attention. And placing it now again and again in the field of being alive. Just noticing where in the body sensations are happening. We're not even landing on them yet. This is Vitakka. We're just pointing in a right direction. Mind and attention towards the body held lovingly, kindly. And we relax and soften the body on purpose so that we can cultivate a similar quality of mind and of heart. If we are overly tightened, tense, stretched, one of the things that happens is we get a tightened mind and then also a correspondingly tightened heart in some way. So we're resting back a little, but alert, attentive, caring. And it is like a mother or father to a newborn. We recognize that it is our consciousness, it is our care that is most needed now. And so with each breath, we bring an intentioned attention. And then from Vitaka, we move to Vichara. Once again, we're going to refine our attention to the area of the breathscape, just for now. A little easier object to hold. We refine the object. And then within that breathscape, rest there a little bit. And with this same tender, gentle, loving care, we find a place then within the breathscape to rest. Vichara. We commit ourselves lovingly. And we create space and room even there so that we don't tighten our attention in a way that will cause distress. We create a beautifully sized cradle to hold this loving, loved infant. And we just rest there, attentive, heedful, with care. And two things have happened that you may or may not be aware of. One is that the mind selected a place, a sensation, an area within the body. And this was not done by accident. This is a part of our conditioning. It may be a point in the body breathscape that was comfortable, easeful, joyful, open, light. It may also have been an area, which happened for me in this sitting, that went, oh, there's a little tightness there. I want to be caring and attentive. And so I actually chose an area that was not just open and spacious, but I did so lovingly. I know that each sensation, just like each breath, has something essential to tell me. And even here with this attention, we bring the qualities of the Corinthians. With intention, we cultivate an attention that is patient and kind. One that is caring and wise. And I offer this first to myself, remembering this is the path to the end of suffering. and we become familiar with each sensation, with each breath, we cultivate a friendliness. This too. And we also are cultivating a capacity for psychological flexibility, a certain tolerance, an ability to stay unconditioned no matter what. An unconditional love with one's own body in one's own breathscape, with one's own sensations. And then as the mind-body becomes more familiar, it remembers. We have cultivated these loving qualities. We can begin to expand the lens beyond the breath, beyond the body. We open then beyond sensations to include thoughts. And we're not looking for a specific kind of thought just yet. We're just opening to thoughts arising and passing, just here and now. Recognizing sound itself is actually considered a thought, even though you didn't think there is the sound of the bird happening now. The actual contact with the experience of sound is frequently and almost immediately accompanied, as we have said, with a sense of pleasant or unpleasant, or that appraisal, safe or not safe, which in fact are thoughts. We're not analyzing thoughts. We're not changing thoughts. We're not identifying with thoughts at all. Simply noticing thoughts or thought objects arising and passing. And if we get carried away by thoughts or lost in thoughts, we know our instructions are as quickly as we can recognize, we unhook, we come back to the body breath. We feel the sensations there. And we begin again. We begin with the attention placed. We begin with the friendliness. We begin with the care. And then when feeling stable, balanced, and mindful, we can open once again to include thoughts. Remembering to continue to cultivate that unconditional friendliness and care. A thought is a thought. The sky is blue. Not me, not mine, not I. And then we're going to practice for just a few moments with our most recent asshole thought. I'd like you to call one to mind. Mind is actually, just as an example, not quite a thought. I'm famous for the smirk. I had a moment where I caught the thought, which was useful. I felt the tightness, also mindful, and yet the momentum, even in that, resulted in a little smirk. And so see if you can find that moment. I see what's happening. I'm working diligently, ardently. I'm trying to stay as present as I can. The thought may not even quite yet have formed, but there is already a tension in the body. There is a contraction of heart, mind, or body that has occurred. And then there is its expression. In my case, the smirk. Maybe a head shake, maybe a sigh, maybe a judgmental thought. The second arrow. All of them. Second arrows. And we're going to see if, rather than condemn, blame, judge, identify, reify the experience, see if we can simply come back from that thought or that smirk, in my case, make contact with it as best we can. See if we can't come into the body. And see if you can make contact with where that tight or tender spot is alive within you. Tight or tender, they're both They're really one and the same. And as I'm resting, again, only an example, I got a kind of sharp, felt sense of like an attack. It felt jolting. It kind of caught me off guard. And I didn't attend to it. I didn't come home. I wasn't friendly or kind. I pushed it quickly out of the way into thinking, what should I do now? That wasn't necessarily unskillful because I didn't do what I would have once done. Nothing came out of my mouth. Good news, wasn't propagating harm in that way. But I also didn't stay in the body. And so we can retrospectively come back now. Let's attend. Friendly, tender, gentle. What was the threat? What was the lack of safety? And that's not in seeking any answer at all, by the way. It's in feeling that vulnerability within one's own body. And we're just creating space, breathing there, making contact. There's nothing to fix, there's nothing to do. This very willingness, this very mindfulness, this very friendliness is the antidote. It may feel a lot like doing nothing, but it's not true. This is love in a great measure. Attending, present, kind, regarding. Open, softened. Holding oneself in loving care. And then we simply abide, seeing what the experience, the attention, the presence, the care has to tell us. And see if you don't notice that it informs your reaction. I understand that smirk now as simply protection from a threat. A silent judgment from a perceived attack. It is not yet to feel for the other, but to continue to feel for oneself, allowing the humanness, the vulnerability, the reality of our own tenderness. And then, when ready, we know this, we can expand only in right timing to include those others who know this tenderness, who know this threat, who know this feeling of being unsafe or attacked. We can feel for them too. And the heart grows. And we smile at this cultivation of our mindfulness, our self-compassion, and our compassion for all beings. And then we simply rest in love. And then with each breath, we breathe in love and we send it out. And we didn't even have to think about it. And may all beings benefit from this practice and this love. so we are already at 9:02, and so I want to be mindful. But we have little Valentine. I think these are brownies. I don't know. They're from Vons, and so what I know is that they're not gluten-free anything. They're not sugar-free anything. They're not. They're nothing free. Everything you can imagine is in there.
They probably taste really good.
And they probably taste amazing. So for those of you who don't happen to be here, you're maybe not missing. But please, I have little napkins. We had a little thing yesterday. We have little heart napkins somewhere. Good. We're going to pass out napkins and little cupcakes. Sorry for those of you who couldn't be here to share it with us. Know that we are thinking of you all, offering you. Can I just show one? Only because they're kind of cute. And I'm sure that this is nothing but sugar and here's the napkin. And here are there's the little brownie, everyone. So please pass them around. I'm gonna keep that one there. We're going to be, I sent out the field guide for the mind. Well, it really means heart mind, doesn't it? Please take a look at it if you haven't seen it. Then rethink the asshole jar. I am accepting money for the asshole jar. I am putting some money in for my smirk. Because I felt like I had it, I let it slip, I got to the smirk, I caught the smirk, and so I want to be honest about that. So I'm going to be putting a little money in that jar for that smirk. I hope everyone has a very happy Valentine's.
Weekend.
Less smirking. I will be working on
I'll
reduced smirking.
I'll probably Venmo you some money just because of thoughts that go crosswise.
The
So
thoughts that go crossway. The thoughts that we propagate,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Now
Yes,
have a
it is.
beautiful
It
day. Love
does.
you.
Love you too. Be well, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. I feel like I will definitely go broke if I have to put money in. I actually got more aggravated at the things that I was aggravated at.
Yes, that's